Hey, it's Tom
And Mike.
from Take Time to Travel.
Well, we've had a busy couple of weeks. We've moved back to Toronto, caught up with some friends and family, and we've received back the results from Tom's biopsy, which, as you can tell from the title of the video, were not very good. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the results actually were, what that means, and what our plans will be going forward.
Yeah, so unfortunately the prostate biopsy did identify cancer in 3 of the 15 core samples that were taken, with a Gleason score of 3 plus 4 equals 7, which is an intermediate grade cancer that will require some treatment. We've only had preliminary discussions with the doctor about it, and we will be having more involved discussions in the next week to decide what some of the options are. Right now, it looks like we'll probably go the radiation route rather than the surgery route, but we will have to talk to the doctor first to see what he recommends. Now, I guess this would be a good time to remind you older guys out there to make sure to talk to your doctor about getting a PSA test if you haven't had one done already, or if you're experiencing any of the symptoms, in order to identify this type of cancer early. I actually took my first PSA test around 10 years ago, and at the time my numbers were a little high at around 5. So my family doctor sent me to a urologist for further follow-up. He decided at the time that the best course of action was to monitor, so I took a PSA test about every 6 months for the next year or so. During that period, the PSA numbers were steadily rising to around 7.5. The urologist then referred me to Princess Margaret Hospital, which is when I had my first prostate biopsy done. For that biopsy, they didn't find any cancer, so the urologist recommended that we could go back to monitoring again. After that, I ended up moving to Toronto, and it was a while, probably way too long, about 8 years, until I found a new family doctor. Since it had been such a long time, the doctor ordered another PSA test and referred me to a new urologist. This time the PSA numbers were much higher at around 14, so he ordered an MRI. The MRI didn't show too much, just a small lesion, so since that time we've been back to monitoring. That was until a few months ago, at the end of August, when I did another PSA test. This time my numbers had increased again to around 19. So at this point, the doctor advised that it was time for another prostate biopsy, which was done around the 3rd week of October. We got the results back from the biopsy at an inopportune time, which was during the train ride home when we were moving back from Montreal to Toronto. Over the phone, the doctor advised that I had cancer and that treatment would be needed to address it. Monitoring would no longer be a reasonable option.
So the doctor ordered a bunch more tests, including some blood work, a bone scan, bone flow, a CT scan, in order to check to see if the cancer has spread to other regions. But right now, they don't think it has. We'll be doing these tests over the next few weeks, as well as having a virtual call with the radiation oncologist at Princess Margaret Cancer Hospital, which is one of the top cancer hospitals in Canada.
During the virtual call, we hope we'll get some more information on what the best next steps will be and whether the doctor advises seed implant therapy, radiation therapy, IMRT, SBRT, HIFU, or something else, or some combination of those therapies. There are a lot of different treatment options to choose from, and I'm not even sure what they all are at this point. The good thing is, we identified the prostate cancer relatively early, so the chances of treating it are very high, at more than 90%. From our current limited understanding, we'd like to find a treatment that's the least invasive with the least long-term side effects, so we look forward to discussing the available options with our doctor.
I'm sure Tom will be in good hands at Princess Margaret Hospital with the experienced doctor that we have. As we don't really have much information yet on what the treatment will be or what the timeline will be for that, we're most likely just going to be staying in Toronto for the winter and exploring what this amazing city has to offer. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have for this update video. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, I think that's about it. As we have more information, we'll make sure to keep you all updated. In the meantime, remember, take time to check your health and take time to travel.
Catch you on the next one.